2, 3, 4. One, two, three, four.
Hey, what's up, Adam? I'm just learning this Mambo tune so I can play along to it. So it's a jazz, it's a jazz style tune. There's like a head in, solos, head out, and there's just a couple little rhythmic hits I'm trying to catch.
1, 2, 3, 4.
So 1, 2, 3, it's the A section, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, and then hit, repeat, 2, 3, 4, ba bum boom, B section. What's up, Mike? Yeah, the Duca has some amazing records. All right, A section. Let me get this last little 2, 3. It's like a whole measure thing right here. All right, now solos. So piano. 3, 4. So it's A. Sort of slightly hitting that accent. See if they hit this one. 4, 2, 3. Yeah, not really. B section. 2, 3, 4, 4, 2. Back to A. So AABA is the form. There's 4 bars of each. All right, the end of the solo is a little different. What is that? 4th. E of 1, E of 3, I believe. Yeah. Check that again. Trumpet. So I'm noting there's all this percussion. So I'm going to keep my part simple. I'm not going to fill those gaps. I'm going to let the timbales do that. So all those fills, that's all timbales, so I'm going to stay out of the way. Just kind of catch the hits. B, A again. See how they end this solo. 3, 2, 3, 4. Same thing. E, E, It's back to the melody. Without the hits this time. B section. Back to the A. How they end this sucker. 3. It just ends on the 1 E into 2 E into. Simple. Again, all these tunes from Jim Riley's Survival Guide for the Modern Drummer. They're not meant to be super difficult. That's not the point. It's to get a track that you can actually apply these different grooves to. So where am I going to put it? Let's put it here. I'll just hang it off of the cymbal. Boom, because I'm not going to be hitting that cymbal probably anyway. So I'm just trying to get those different grooves I've been working on. Basic Mambo patterns, Cascara patterns. So I might do just basic stuff. I want to try to get through the tune with as minimal extra stuff, just playing the grooves.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I'll start over a little more volume.
1, 2, 3, 4.
right, what's up, Inca? Thank you. Yeah, these drums are sounding. I'm using a because I'm testing the durability of this drum head here. I'm using the plastic side of the beater, and I think it sounds better. So check it out. That's the plastic side. I'll just flip it around. Now, let me spin it. It definitely is giving me Jeff Porcaro vibes when I use the plastic side on this single ply coated head. That's the felt side. They both sound cool, but I'm trying to wear this head out to see how it compares. It's a Drum Factory Direct prototype head, single ply coated. I just think that sounds better, especially because the mic is in front, not inside the drum. Toms are tuned pretty much as low as they can go. I've got my prototype signature snare here, mahogany gum shell, which I don't think anybody's doing. It's 2 plies. I can never get the construction right. It is 2 plies of mahogany, 2 plies of gum, 2 plies of mahogany, 2 plies of gum. Yeah, it's like layered, two ply chunks. Mahogany, gum, mahogany, gum, mahogany. So 3 layers of mahogany, 2 layers of gum. Not the kit that I would necessarily use for this kind of low volume Latin jazz, but it sounds pretty cool. All right, I was being indecisive with my parts. I want to play it again and just stick to A section, playing clave, B section. I'll do some of the conga mimicking stuff on the rim click and tom, and that's it. I want to not change, and I'm really being resistant to not playing the bass drum on every tune bow, because I kind of learned these grooves with the bass drum on every other beat. But the way the way Frank Malaby wrote it in the Afro-Cuban Rhythms for Drum set, the kick drum only reinforces the tune bow on the 3 side of the clave, so just there only. So I want to stick to that. It feels kind of empty to not play more bass drum, but I'm going to resist it. Let's try from the beginning again.
1, 2, 3, 4.
So I've got to figure out my grooves. So the A section. B section, I want to change it to the conga stuff. And because there is hand drums in the track, I'm going with Frank Malaby's suggestion again, which is to not play the full do-cut, which is what you would do if there was no percussionist. But since there's a percussion section, I'm just playing single notes. See if I can get through this track without tripping over myself.
1, 2, 3, 4.
No mistakes can be allowed. I gotta add some more scene changes to my Stream Deck. It keeps running out and you're stuck with the right side camera. All right. Commit. No indecisiveness. Play the parts.
1, 2, 3, 4.
What's up, Anthony? Yeah, I'm glad you dig the kit. This is my favorite. I think I talked about it before, but this is my Bucks County Relic mahogany poplar with the outer veneer is, go to this angle, you can see it. This is ash. This is an ash veneer on the outside, but the shell is mostly mahogany and poplar. So this is supposed to be my vintage Ludwig killer. And it kind of is. Sounds beefy and fat. And I'm using single ply coated batter head, which I am way into. I think I'm gonna use it on all my drums now. What's inside of it? I think I have a couple of those Remo tube things, those like Dave Weckl, like sausage things, one on the batter side, one on the front side. I also threw an old bath towel in between those to kind of cover the shell a bit. So give it a shot. It got a calfskin, you can't see it, Evans calf tone on the front, which I'll probably swap with a G1 coated when I change the heads. If you haven't tried single ply coated bass drum heads for a punchy sound, it takes a little bit more work to dial it in. Well, that's hard to beat, and it just has so much more character than like a pre-muffled EMAD or even the EQ4, which is just a single ply head with a dampening ring. Something about that dampening ring, it kind of just removes all the cool mid-range. So that thing's got some vibe. Well, I got to check out that live Tower Power record then. Do you know what the title of it is? Is it more recent? But yeah, give it a shot if you never tried just a single ply coated. I mean, that's I've said on here before, but all the studio greats from the peak of recording drums, Jeff Porcaro, Jim Gordon, Jim Keltner, Kenny Aronoff, they all use single ply coated heads. And those bass drums sound, John Robinson, pretty sure he used that, Yogi Horton, they all use single ply coated bass drum head. And today, Shannon Forrest uses it, and his bass drum always sounds amazing on record. So it's worth a shot. Don't just default to the EMAD Superkick Power Stroke 3 that the manufacturers think you need to use. I'm going to start doing single ply coated on all drums. Soul Vaccination, Tower Power Live 1999. I will listen to that today. All right, so back to what I was doing. I'm trying to limiting my vocabulary because there's so much happening in the track. There might be too much. There's all kinds of cowbells and shakers and percussion. There's a timbale player who's covering all the fills. So in my experience, limited experience playing in Latin ensembles, mostly in college, we usually had 2 percussionists or 3 percussionists and a drum set player. Bongos, congas, timbales, and drum set. And we had to be very careful not to step on each other's toes. Conga player plays a pattern. Bongo player has a little bit more improvisation, kind of playing around the melody a little bit more, and we often go to the big quarter note bell during the louder sections. Timbale player was more like the setup man or woman, would play all the hits and change colors. So the drum set kind of ended up just filling the gaps, being more of a texture rather than an actual, a drum set part. So I'm trying to keep that in mind. Let the other parts in the track carry it. Just do the big hits. But I'm not sold on just using that one bell pattern. It works throughout, and what I did was when we got to the B section on, I think the piano solo or maybe the head, I went to the bell to ride, which was cool. You can also play it on the rim. All that seemed to work except for when I wanted to get a little bit more, play more of the bongo bell kind of thing. And so I might go to more of this. Might try that in some of the B sections. Maybe go to the full Mambo bell. So I'm going to give myself those 2 additional variations, the Mambo bell, which is usually played by the timbale player, or the bongo bell, which is usually played by the bongo player. And I guess just the B sections. The A sections, I'll stick with the clave and basic katsukura. So let's see.
One, two, three, four.
Yeah, I'm really feeling like a fish out of water with this stuff, but it's getting there. It is getting there. I almost went into songo, and that's default gringo Latin groove. Anthony, cumbia just a bit ago. What do you mean? You were listening to it? I don't know. I admit I know so little about these different styles. I need some good cumbia records to listen to. I need some good, just cool Latin records, honestly. I mean, I know the classics, the old classics. What's some like contemporary stuff that is really killing? That's not too poppy. That's kind of what I'm after. Okay. Yeah, hook me up. I feel like a total fish out of water with this stuff, for sure. I do like the Mambo bell, though. What I realize is I have a hard time playing the clave along with that bell pattern. I must have literally never played that before because it is not gelling with my muscle memory. Like the other variations are okay, but the clave is weird. What's up, Simon? Good to see you. I've also noticed my tendency to want to play the bass drum on the one is frustrating me. And just in general, like not outlining every 4-bar phrase with some sort of crash or something. That seems to be not indicative of this style very much. Oh yeah, I'm glad you dig the snare. Here, I'll put it on this side so you can see it better. I'm not sure when Chris is going to announce these or make these available, but it's a funky, beautiful, ugly drum. Exactly what I wanted. I wanted it to look like an old 50s WFL that has been sitting in the basement somewhere for 50 years. Solid brass tube lugs that had the chrome stripped off, solid brass, these are steel actually, steel single flange hoops that had the chrome stripped off. He also stripped off the chrome on the throw off, so it really looks like it's been at the bottom of the ocean. Straight shell though, no re-rings. Mahogany gum, 6.5 by 14, I think. Is that 7? 6.5 by 14. With my favorite black diamond pearl wrap, which I think often gets overlooked because it's a little bit funkier than the black oyster. Not like as classy, buttoned up as like a champagne sparkle or a white marine pearl. It's kind of like again, the uglier version of the classic wraps, which I love. It's my favorite. I don't think I've tuned this drum since I got it and did the first tuning. It will be available, probably, I mean, you can order one now if you wanted one, but I think he's going to actually make it a catalog item on his site sometime soon. It's technically a signature drum, but I'm not going to like do anything crazy. It'll just have my signature on the inside sticker. I'm not some vain person who needs to have my name on everything. The wires are sloppy loose, which is, again, the sound. I wanted to sound like an old 50s drum. It's got 16 strands, so you can have them loose and rattly, and it doesn't get out of control. Fun drum. You can hit it harder. Like my old 50s drums, particularly the WFL, no way I could hit it that hard. Concert Supreme, I think, is the model. No way I could hit it that hard. It would just crap out. But this, you can play it like a modern drum. You can play it hard, but it still gives you that old kind of raspy, kind of thumpy old sound, dusty. It's fun, and no muffling, although it does sound great. The old paper trick. Just use my chart. It handles muffling well too, but it sounds so cool wide open that I just use some other drums for the muffled thing that I don't like as much. Because you can almost make any drum sound good with a lot of muffling. To have it sound vibey and cool and appropriate with nothing. That's usually a sign of a good drum to me. All right, I think I need to learn some more of these grooves. The bongo bell is kind of cool. Try to get some variations of that going. Let's see. I thought I would try some left foot clave, and that ain't gonna happen, not with that pattern. All right, let's go back to the book, shall we? Hit me up with any questions about anything if you have any. I can't answer too many about Afro-Cuban rhythms because I'm still a novice, but any information I can share about anything, I'm happy to do so. So, get us this book, Afro-Cuban Rhythms for Drum Set. Johnny says, really like the long tube lugs on the tom. Yeah, that's something that Chris kind of brought it back. Not a lot of companies were doing you see a lot of mini tubes on toms these days. And Chris started doing this with his Prime Series kits. Long tube lugs even on the kick. So they kind of look like a club date or something that would have a single contact point in the middle, but they're much more stable because they have the two posts. And same thing on the snare. Wide open tuning, I go wide open as often as possible. Tom, especially low tuning, it just kind of focuses it a bit if I put just a little bit of dampening tape or gels or whatever, just to keep any kind of like distortion out of the tone, because sometimes when you tune really low, it can get kind of distorted sounding. So just a little bit helps on that. Kick drum wide open, I mean, I love it, but it very rarely works with microphones. That said, I just recorded my old Slingerland 65 kit for a track, wide open. It does have a felt strip because it has the original heads on it, single ply coated Slingerland heads. I just recorded that. It does have like small felt strips, I think on both sides, just one, but wide open, and it's by far my favorite bass drum sound. But it only works when when someone wants that Bonham-y kind of ridiculousness. Most of the time I have to muffle the bass drum just a little bit. All right, so these other bongo, I think I kind of played all these. Yeah, here we go. I think I ended with this last time and I couldn't get comfortable with this. So it's an alternate bongo bell pattern. All right, let's shed that a little bit. Simon, will you be given charts for Afro-Cuban gigs, or will you just write out your own notes? The ones that I used to play, we would have lead sheets. So we would just get melody and chords, maybe with some accents notated above the staff or something. And then it was up to us in the percussion section to figure out the parts. I don't think at any point in that group, because we had 3 horns, piano, bass, and then 3 percussionists and a drummer. So a pretty decent sized kind of Latin jazz group. No singers, so it was more instrumental jazz influenced versus like a more traditional mambo thing that might have singers. But no, we were just given lead sheets, and with any kind of rhythmic notation that like ensemble figures were notated, and then we as the percussion section would kind of work out who was going to cover what, who was going to take the lead, when we were going to, dynamic shifts and all that kind of stuff. Oh my. Okay. So this bell pattern. Is super funky. Now I got to figure out how to play that with the clave. It's definitely where I left off last time. 2-3 son clave over that syncopated bell that's going from the mouth to the top of the bell. If I had a bigger bongo bell, it would be a little bit more obvious. I guess I need to break out some other bells. So how did I build this up? Last time, I think I started with the clave and just add a bell pattern, add a bell note each time. Because the clave rules all. Clave is the key. Yeah, as soon as I stop thinking about it, I mess it up. So it's definitely not there. I need to go slower. So I tried to add 3 notes. It was too many. I'm going to go back to just adding 1 at a time. All right, so now I think I can play the whole pattern. So what I'm going to do is play the pattern once and then just the clave and then play the pattern once because I think it's the repeating cycle. My brain's not having enough time to kind of recalculate. I'm going to try to add the 1. right, so I built it up each time, add in an extra repeat once I felt like I was ready for it until I could do it 4 times in a row, which I just did, and it felt okay. The problem is I'm reading it. I'm still reading it, which has always been a problem for me. I've been naturally a good reader, so I very rarely internalized challenging new stuff because I could just read it. And then it was like, cool, I could read it, and it must mean I know how to play it. There's no way I could recall that if I closed the book, I don't think. Let's see. All right, I can kind of play it from memory. So now it's getting there. I'm literally going to turn it upside down though, so I don't even look at it. Let's see. Getting there, getting there. Still doesn't feel super fluent. If I can get the bass drum in there. All right, the coordination between the mouth and the top of the bell is just an extra independence challenge. All this stuff is tricky. All right, my brain is overloaded, which means I need to stop. Something I never did growing up as I was practicing like a madman. I would get to something difficult and I would just barrel through it like an idiot. When your brain needs time to process this stuff, you can't keep asking it to learn without a moment to just let those neurons settle. So I'm going to play the song one more time and just play whatever the heck I want to play. And then I'll come back to that pattern and I bet it'll be okay. Yeah, thank you for tuning in, Anthony. Have fun at your work day. I got to do the same here shortly. All right, play the tune, whatever the heck I want to play.
1, 2, 3.
All right, bit all over the place, but that was the point, just to clear my brain. All right, last time, try to play this pattern and see how it goes. All right. Ooh. All right, let's see if I can play it from memory first. Nope, it is gone. All right, it took me a minute, but I know it felt, once I figured it out again, it felt way, way, way more solid. I just need to get to the point where I can just sit down and play it. So that'll be every day. I'm going to come down here and just first thing see if I can just play that pattern. It's getting there. It's getting there. Patience, right? Especially because I'm basically learning a new language. All right, I've got to log off. Thank you all for joining in. Good to see you. Tomorrow is Thursday. I don't have meetings. I will be back at noon tomorrow. Ciao.